All right. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hello, hello. How are you doing today? Hopefully, not too bad. Not too bad, hopefully. So, today, the big triple digit, the old, the old one hundo. Yup, yup. So, with that being said, let's get this bat. Let me get them rounded up, and we'll get fired up in a sec. So, with that being said, give me a moment.
You're what?
We are in the woods.
You're in the woods too? Nice.
No, session start.
Oh, guys,
Huh.
the
Yes.
mortician that I used I haven't worked there for like 2 years.
Must be on their birthday calendar.
All right. So who would like to do a recap?
You know what? I think for once I could do one.
All right, Veldrin.
My memory is put together enough to rub that one together. Uh, so we were walking and it was after Veldrin had decided, like, we're gonna go to Chronosis. Here's our homing beacon to Chronosis, even though it wasn't gonna get us all the way there, it at least set us in the right direction. And
For one day.
yeah, for one. And as we were walking, Niavara and Veldrin had noticed that the trees started changing color, like the leaves were taking on a more purple hue. And eventually we just kind of like crossed into a section of the Feywild. And while we were inside of there was a Cheshire Cat figure that uh hold on. Train of thought just
Kind of trolling. The
uh
Cheshire Cat was kind of trolling, you know.
yeah, it was really going after Niavara and was trying to dig at some of the things that she would be like insecure about. And Niavara was kind of, puffing up and like trying to fight back. But Zed had sent his Raven up and noticed that we were moving slower than normal. So we were essentially in like a time sink. And that's when Veldrin was kind of like, we need to get the fuck out of here after a while. Like everybody was kind of encouraging, like, we need to get out. And we were on our way there. And Niavara and the cat like really locked horns for a second. And Veldrin was the one that like pulled her out of it because he was like, we need to get going. Like,
Wasting
he,
time.
yeah, like he just came out of the past month and now is like, oh, the entire world is potentially going to change.
He was also doing that really cool thing of like turning into the cat was
Yeah.
like turning into each one of us. And then like from people from our past, like I mean more Niavara's more fucking with Niavara mostly, but
Yeah. Well, it was turning into the people that Niavara had encounters with.
yeah.
And it was when it changed to their mother that Veldrin grabbed her.
And he wanted her to admit defeat. And she finally said that she shouldn't have messed with him in his realm, is what she said. Without actually admitting defeat, she just made that. I shouldn't have messed with you in your realm.
Just appeasing.
Yeah, not her finest hour. Fucked with the Cheshire cat and lost.
Happens to the
Cheshire
best
Cat's
of
evil
us.
twin.
Happens to the best of us.
I don't know. I think Kozik and Zedrin got out there just fine without doing anything. Kozik, sorry, Zed. Opal. The smarter members of the party got off just fine. The prideful member, on the other hand,
The smart prideful member.
Zedrin, was fine. I know Niavara's intelligence stat. We all do. It's a flat
She's pretty
average.
smart. No, she's pretty
That's
smart.
average. Average kid put that together.
What's your intelligence stat?
10.
That is average.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Her
The
strength-
average person could put that together.
Yeah.
So, but how did the session end?
Yeah, mine's 10 also.
But we did get out. But it just ended with like we just got out.
And didn't we do a rest, or was that the night?
No, we
think
did.
a
I think we
raid.
did.
Well, we got out and then we went.
We did a
moved
rest.
way, and then we set up a camp and we slept off our exhaustion. So we did do it.
Yeah.
A
Yeah, we
camp
did a
out, do
long
sleep
rest.
afterwards.
Because there was the debate of do we push through another night or do we rest now?
Yeah, the
Yeah. I mean, we'd
exhaustion,
already done that. We'd already
status
Was-
really
through a
kind of
night.
messed with us.
Wasn't the reason we ran into the cat during the day of we decided to push through. After we got
Yes.
out of the cat's dimension, we kept moving because Niavara wanted to be nowhere near it and then did a rest.
Yeah,
No.
but there was the debate of do we push through and
Oh, I don't think we debated
was
it
much
that
earlier in
night
the
because
session.
we'd already not slept.
Yeah, we.
it was a brief one.
Pause.
Yeah, there was a
Okay.
pause for it.
And then we said promptly, "Oh fuck that." Need to keep going. Let's go to bed.
All right.
And I do recall we ended on a rest because I made the joke of Opal's going to shorten her hair to make herself cat ears.
Right.
Mhm.
I gotta clear the chat log in a minute soon. All right. Well, unless there's anything else that you can think
Early
of.
on in the last session, we did refuse the call to adventure when there was a light or something, right? Had made
Oh,
itself
yeah.
known through the forest, a sort of will-o'-the-wisp that we spied, and then ultimately we like just let it do its. No, we tried to chase it and it like kept retreating from us, and it was like, let's not. That's
Yeah.
all. That was just a point of incident there.
Right. And then we were thinking, oh, that probably would have been the time where it would have helped us with the
Or it might have eaten
cat
us.
and that,
We don't know.
or it might have eaten us. Yeah. But we did speculate.
We did. Whoops.
All right. So, remember to take your inspiration. So, pretty much, it seemed like the consensus was you guys wanted to get somewhat away from the boundaries of this entity that made it a point to take up Niavar on her offer to mess with her. To which it happily
That's right. She said, fuck around and find out. That's right.
to which it happily accepted that deal. And yeah, you guys essentially just set up camp and get a long rest in with no interruption. And with that being said, somebody roll me a D100. Start of the session.
I'm just gonna click that and get it out of the way.
Okay. Mark down, they rolled an 81. Okay.
So I guess if we're still looking to go east, when Zed sent the Raven up, he was able to see that there was almost kind of like a bubble or like a dome, where this sort of area was, that we were in, that we were slowed down. So we would be able to go around it. And I guess, for the sake of kind of seeing where we are, Zed would probably send his Raven up again just to look around and I guess, kind of pose to the rest of the group. Well, which way we like to go?
Well, east, eh?
Well, you're trying to head east, but the parameters of this zone are directly in your path, so it would be at this point, based from your character's perspectives, left or right, but I guess from a map orientation perspective, north or south.
Can I do perception and see if I could tell if there was one way that's maybe easier than another or more traveled, something?
Yeah, you can always try.
18.
On an 18, there doesn't appear to be any pathways that would convey either or.
Okay.
It doesn't look like anybody's really traversed this path. It doesn't seem like there's a sizable variation on whether you go north or south. It's just like this small piece of, this boundary is just kind of here in the way.
And otherwise just kind of like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
But I will say on an 18, furthermore on an 18, just kind of going down the list of the DC information here. Your bird would probably just barely spot the faint flicker of like some light, or yeah, it's an 18. Something shiny. But even on an 18, your bird's in the air. It's really high up. It's going to be impossible to zoom and enhance on whatever it is on the other side of this territory.
Is it so would it be far enough? Is it too far rather for me to send the bird over toward it and actually get a closer look, or would I not be able to see anymore?
I mean, so technically you can send the bird wherever you want, but once it's out of 100 feet, you can't directly communicate with it.
Right. So, but would I be able to still? Well, yeah, I guess. Is it within that range?
Oh hell no! It's
Okay.
way on the other side of
It's
this
way out there. Got it.
terrain.
And so would that be north or south?
It would be east. Basically, imagine it's on the other side of this.
Oh,
Territory.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So Zed would relay that. I can't really see what it is, but there is definitely something either glowing or shiny, almost on the opposite side of this little pocket that we're near. Otherwise, I don't think it really matters which way we go, because it's all kind of the same sort of wooded forest.
Well,
Hey,
Mr.
Neovara.
Thatcher, what's the
Oh.
what do you perceive to be the limit of your perception with this raven? How far can you see?
As far as, well, that's a good question. I guess if it's up high enough and there's nothing really obscuring, I could probably see. I mean,
I
you know,
propose. I propose.
as far as
I might be able to. I could cast this this spell that would allow both of us to fly up for somewhere around 10 minutes. I think.
ooh,
I'm getting an echo from Sorry.
From me. Huh.
So if you'd like to have a go at that, Mr. Thatcher, I'd be happy to take you up with me, and then you could fly around at your own freedom.
I think that'd be great.
All right, then
Yeah.
let's have a go then. So I'm gonna conjure my magic powers. This magic is gathering, I guess you'd say.
What's it look like as your magic is gathering?
It's slowly building. Come on. But in any event, at fourth, this is a 4th level spell, and it allows me to choose one other person to fly. Hitting the button.
Oh, okay.
Hello?
There it is.
Eh?
So yeah, and then at that, I say the ancient dwarven chant Alakazam, and then yes, I seem to feel a certain lightness, and I start floating up into the sky.
Zed's just kind of like, all right, I don't really feel any different. How's this work? He's gonna take a step forward, but instead of stepping on the ground, he's just gonna it's gonna look like he's walking upstairs. And he says, whoa, oh, okay. Oh, this is odd.
You've got the hang of it, Mr. Thatcher. Haha. As long as I maintain my concentration, we should be able to fly.
He's pretty soon Zed's just gonna be standing like you would at, like a front of the ship sort of pose. And he's just flying around.
So when you seem like you're a bit uneased at taking flight, little one would flutter off your shoulders and fly behind you and grab onto like your collar, kind of like he thinks he's carrying you.
Zed's totally gonna play into that. Oh, hey, thanks, mate.
As his mouth is full, trying to carry you.
I just picture Zed's he's got little one like grabbing his collar, flapping his wings on one side. And he's got this raven sitting on his other shoulder. Just two birds on either shoulder while he's flying around.
What does that mean in practical terms? A flying speed of 60 feet. A flying speed of 60 feet.
Much like how you have a
It's-
movement speed of 60 feet, you can have a flight speed of 60 feet. Or a movement speed of 30 feet, you have a flight speed of 60. So you can just fly wherever you want. If a stat says you have a swim speed of 30 feet, then that means basically swimming's not difficult terrain and you could just move as easily as if you were walking for, that range.
Okay.
And the speed might be misleading, but basically if we're in initiative to where you'd have your normal movement with this
Right.
spell on top of our normal movement, we could also fly for 60 feet for that turn.
Which is probably twice what your character can go in
Yeah.
turn.
Oh yeah. A question, I guess. Would dashing work with like flying?
As far
Yeah,
as
right.
I have looked up, yes. Because it's still
Oh, wow.
technically movement.
So I'm not going to dawdle for too long. I guess I try to get up to a nice altitude above the this sphere, if that can be done, and see what's going on over the horizon.
Yeah, so Zed'll fly up kind of up next to Kozik. I just picture Kozik very regal, kind of maybe with his hands behind his back, just floating and looking around like this is totally normal. And Zed's just like flailing around in the air, trying to make this feel not so odd. But they'll, kind of float up, and Zed'll point over across this sort of pocket dimension thing at whatever he was noticing in the distance through those raven's eyes. All right, so there's something, you see that over there? I can't tell what it is, but
Do I have to roll a perception, or I guess I do see something over there, but it's just on the edge of vision.
Shot.
right. So, I mean, if you look, we could go that way, and he's going to point kind of north, going around this, or you could, looks like, go around that way. I don't really see much of a difference. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Well, and I mean, if it's a sphere, then I mean, how far across does it seem? I mean, can we just leap over there?
So the boundaries seem to go for about a mile. So it's a pretty wide berth.
Okay, that's good information. That's good info. All right. So it seems like either going north or south shouldn't matter, but if we just have a short hike, we should be able to go around this this infernal zone of terror.
Yeah, Zed's just nodding. He's like, aye.
Hmm.
But
Going around.
so then, what is
Yeah.
it that we see in the distance? Like it's some structure that might be shining. It's too far away to know, or
It's too far away from where you're at. Because it's really
Well, I
just
propose-
a bit of light reflecting off of something. So it's
Well, I
not
propose
just
we try to make our
distance.
way- Uh-huh.
So it's not just distance, well over a mile away, but also the canopy, the trees, So there's a lot of, obscuring factors.
Yeah. Well, once we pass by this sphere, this zone, we may want to try to strike for whatever that is that's shining.
Oh, yeah, we should check that out.
I agree. I agree.
Is there? I mean, um,
Are you guys still flying, or are you back on the ground talking?
We're
to
still
everybody,
up.
or
We're
just-
still up there.
I think we're
on
both
the-
Okay,
still
okay.
looking. Cubed, is there trying to think of how to phrase this, like a tree or some sort of potential landmark that we could see in either direction that could act as like a waypoint so that we know we're going in the right direction. We know we're going around this thing once we're getting, through the woods. Like, can we see something like that from up here?
It's just a lot of trees, but you do
Okay.
have somebody who has perfect memory of terrain.
Hmm.
Ah, yes.
I'll give that one to them. That's sort of Opal's thing.
I think Zed will kind of start to float back down to where everyone's at and mention kind of what we've seen, and doesn't really matter which way that we need to go. And so yeah, he'll look to Inanna and Opal and Sari and Vel and what you all think.
I mean,
I could
I'm
definite-
wondering
Go ahead.
if I'm wondering, Niavara, if you I'm just remembering what they said about how dangerous this forest is, and I'm wondering if you drew a card for each direction, and see what it says about each direction and what we might find.
You know, I like my cards, don't get me wrong. I think we would all much rather I pull the curtain out and just cast the actual spell, augury. Now, I
Oh.
can't quite do that, but I can say what we might find in a direction, good or bad, weal or woe.
All right, then that's what I'm after. So yeah, that sounds great.
Unfortunately, we have to sort of like ask the question, like, oh, what are we gonna do the next 30 minutes if we go X direction? That's and it only requires like something that happens like the next 30 minutes.
Ah,
Yeah.
we can't ask a general if we're running into good or evil. It has to be within a time period. Okay.
Well, I mean, like, I guess we could just like try and ask it. Like, will we be heading in the direction of our goals
Yeah,
if we go
that's
this
right.
way? But like, if it says no, we're still lost, and we have 3 directions on all sides.
Well, one of them's hopefully better than the other.
Is it Opal who has the special ability that was mentioned?
Yes, that's Opal.
Oh,
I
Um,
shall hydrate.
If it would be helpful, Opal, I could cast the flying spell on you, and you could go up and take a look, and maybe that would help you blaze a trail through this woods.
that would be incredibly useful. I would appreciate that,
Are
Cozy.
you willing? Are you willing to take flight? Okay.
Very willing.
Let's see. Again,
Well,
allow me
Niamh, are
to-
you gonna do the thing, or
Oh, I'll wait until we see what happens here, right?
okay?
I can.
So recasting fly.
Yeah. There it goes. Well, cast it twice before.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So who you putting it on?
Yeah, so I cast it upon Opal.
All right. So that would mean
And it re-ups my 10 minutes, I guess, too, since I have to cast it on myself and then one creatures.
When you cast a spell using a slot 14 high, you can target one. Well, I mean, if you didn't want to use a higher level spell slot, then you could just cast it on Opal, because at higher levels you can cast it on the second person, basically.
I think it does. That's a good point. I think there's not really much utility to what I mean. I only have 2 castings anyway of any spell slots, so it doesn't really matter.
Such is the life of a warlock.
Yep, very
You-
specialized skill set.
Warlocks need a lot of 1-hour naps.
I do a lot of cat naps for sure.
All right. So Opal, you have flight, and Zed, you don't have flight. But little one, you know when you, because I think Zed, you flew down, right? I thought he said he did that.
Yeah, we both flew down to talk to the
Yeah, we
crew.
did.
Okay. So little one's still holding on to your collar like he's carrying you.
Adorable.
Zed's like walking around, but he's trying to make it seem like he's kind of floating, like he's got his arms out next to him. Whoa, just kind of like big airy steps, just to make it seem like the little one's still carrying him.
He seems to be having a much harder time keeping you aloft for some unknown reason. Anyway,
Alrighty. Scouting ahead time.
so
And I'm
you
flying up there with Opal too.
So you both fly up, and I mean you get a pretty good lay of the land, at least from what you can see, because like I said, there's a lot of trees, a lot of pretty heavy canopy, pretty thick canopy. So you would definitely know how to get from point A to point B in the short term. But long term, there is a bit of a difference between knowing where you're going above ground versus, beneath the canopy and being on foot. But nonetheless beneficial.
Very, very good.
I will give him advantage.
Hmm.
Let's see
Yeah, we're
which
floating around up there. We're flying
checks are they in. Are they in check?
to and fro.
Flying to and fro, scouting ahead. Keeping eyes for any landmarks or openings.
But yes, Opal, do you see that shining point of light in the distance? Can you see that?
They're here.
What I had to roll perception check again?
Yeah.
Oh. Here we go. 19.
That's fine. I didn't have Kozik do it. Whatever. Yeah, you'd see something shiny.
Hmm.
But it's like I said, it's far enough away. It's still you have to catch the light at the right angle. So it's not like a beam of light that's readily just like right there. It's more of a something shiny reflecting. And you just have to be at the right angle for it.
Hmm. I kind of
Yes,
want
who
to
knows
go.
what that could be? Maybe the fine metalwork on the front of a temple far away, or maybe just some sort of
And
mineral on a big rock. Who knows?
And actually, since you are in so I'm referring to my global map, and you're in the hex that you're in, you can definitely see off in the distance, like the mountain ranges.
We grow ever closer to Chronos. Very good.
They're one hex away from the
as to what that is.
mountain terrain.
Would we? I doubt we'd be able to fly over there in the 10 minutes, would we?
I mean, I feel
I
like
think
what we'd probably be able to move like what, maybe
60
a
feet.
mile or two in 10 minutes, and then we'd be stuck. Then we'd be going to the ground.
And on top of that, the time that you spent flying up here and looking around.
Yeah,
Very true. Let's just get back to the group. We don't want to be stranded up ahead regardless.
no, yeah. Let's. We should probably. I'm feeling like we might want to travel south on foot. We'll see what the rest of the group's.
Agreed. Avoid that noxious cat.
Never again.
Perfectly friendly cat. Yeah.
Alrighty. Flying back to the group.
Yep.
I will give him advantage on survival checks. Moving towards the mountains. I think that's fair. He has a general idea of the terrain as opposed to a crude map. All right, you guys land. What's the plan, Stan?
Alrighty. Head a bit south, avoid the cat's area, then keep moving eastward. Sound good to everybody?
Wait, what direction did you say? I'm sorry.
Kozik, you said south, correct?
Yes, but it's just a feeling. There didn't seem to be any difference to going north either.
We just want to avoid the
We just
cat's
can't
area.
We can't go straight through.
Well,
And
can
it
we
goes
see
on-
what
the-
Neavara comes up with as far as which direction might be better to choose?
That might be an appropriate question. Yes.
This actually is a pretty good use of the spell augury. See, the original thing is really wide. This is simple. Yes or no, good or bad. Let's
Zero.
cast the
Yeah.
die. Or I guess, bones.
Roll the bone.
Them bones, them
I've been
bones.
told of people who are able to
Mm.
use it with die. I can't imagine how that would work.
Oh, it's the course of action you plan to take within the next half hour. It doesn't mean it's only a half hour out. I see. Okay.
Yes. So as in if we go this way within the next half hour. And now that we have a direction, in theory, that you guys are asking about, we can now ask the bones.
The bone.
The bones.
And what is your wording?
So I suppose the exact wording would be, and like to be clear about what Kozik, Opal, and Zedrin had been looking at, they found like a path for it, but they're not quite sure if like that's the way to go.
I thought we were asking whether north or south would be, more towards our overall goals, like heading for Chronosis. Which one was more, less, troublesome, I suppose.
Hmm. I could see how that could be used in a multiple myriad of ways. But with the spell cast, let's say if we were to go north, would we encounter more trouble than we would if we were to go south?
Oh, I like it. What's that?
Cheeky.
Let's see. Receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the results of a specific course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes.
We go north. Oh shit. Yeah, it doesn't take any of the other circumstances. It just says if we go north, like what are the consequences of us going north?
Well,
Mhm.
can you ask once for north and once for south?
That would be 2 different spell slots.
And if I cast it 2 or more times, it accumulates into having false answers to prevent
Okay.
us from doing exactly that.
I see. And you can't ask, would it be better to go north than
Nope.
south?
It's just about what you do. I misread this. I forgot the spell.
So, north.
Yes.
All right. So you cast the bones. And your patron for today is who again?
I never specified, but after we left the
I'm guessing Fury.
elf village, I had specified Salute the Traveler. I don't think that I specified this morning. I think she would have just kept up the train. You know, fits with the fuck we're lost.
I mean, also, I was like, I wonder if it's going to be Fury on account of the situation.
No notes yet.
So you cast the bones, and they skitter across the ground. And as you cast the spell, there's some light that illuminates each of the bones, and they start to move themselves in a somewhat frantic but slower paced, chaotic, swirling pattern, which you'd probably ascertain the chaos of it, that the result would be woe.
Oh. And of course, the traveler is trying to mold me into a weapon of his own. And no one wants their weapon, they want their weapon to be tempered, not broken. We go south.
That sounds good. Let's do it.
Well, did she know South is also a woe?
Indeed,
They'll
indeed.
find out.
She gathers up the bones and puts them back in with her other stuff.
Thank you, Niavara.
Of course. One of the few actual clerical things that I do for this party, I imagine.
Oh, I need to update the ticker.
Divining
Hold
the
on.
stars.
This is day
Certainly need to heal you people more often.
3. Update.
All right, so I certainly am making sure that I've got my bedroll all rolled up and all of the kit ready to go.
All right, there we
Yep.
go.
Niavar would pack her things, and she'd sort of scratch her neck and be like, here's a question. How long do you think we were in that little bubble?
Ah, was it even? Was it the same day when we emerged?
I can't tell. Can you?
That is a problem with being out in the wildlands. There's no one to ask what time of day it is.
I mean, I could send a message to Tio. I do not have sending. Actually, I do have sending prepared.
Does it matter for us in terms of our choices?
No. More just a moment of curiosity. We'll figure it out along the way. You know what? The traveler likes his mysteries. I think they'd find it funny. So
Alright.
we go south.
Going
is.
south.
South. Okay.
And survival check. Veldrin, are you going to assist me?
Yeah.
Thank you. And just double checking that is advantage with Veldrin's help, correct, DM?
Well, it would have been advantage without Veldrin's help because I was going to give you
Oh, right.
advantage
Ah. Okay.
because you got a general lay of the land from the above ground.
Gotcha. Thank you, DM.
Not that you really needed it.
We got a natural 20 gamers.
That you did. So, with a natural 20 on your survival, you have no problem whatsoever navigating around this boundary, this barrier. You've been made aware of how to detect where the boundaries are, so you make sure to not step into any area that might be maybe an outcropping, right? Because you see it as a circle, but there could be points where it's just slightly more or less. It's not it might not necessarily be a perfect sphere. And you make your way south. And you can give me a perception check.
Just more.
Since you're leading the pack, yeah.
17.
Okay. So with a 17, you come across what seems like very uncharacteristic of a dense forest, but there's a pretty sizable just hole in the ground, like a ravine sort of thing. Now, granted, it doesn't seem like it goes very far, but it also seems like if you were to gauge its direction, it would have cut directly through, like right through like the middle of the feline's parameters. But you're also aware that it probably doesn't go too much further from where you're at. You might just have to go out just a little bit, because you can see it goes down pretty far, right? But eventually, like where you're at, it kind of looks like it's a little closer to the surface, so not as deep, but still,
It's
40,
a
50
ravine.
feet.
It would not be fun to fall into.
Correct. And granted, it's not terribly wide. It's about 15 feet wide. But, it'd still be kind of hard to jump.
I mean, Opal specifically does have those shoes she's been wearing for ages now. Boots of striding and springing that allow me to, if I remember correctly, allow me to use my movement speed as my jumping distance as well. 3 times the normal distance. That's fun. But not everybody has a pair of these boots. Huh. The ravine's a bit annoying, but we shouldn't be too far away from its natural edge. Everybody, let's keep moving, avoiding this.
Okay, yes. Let's stay away from
Well, that puts us directly south, yeah?
Okay, so
Yes.
checking. Okay. So my browser is being slow. Un momento.
Yeah, I can't see anything.
You can't see anything?
Mm-mm.
Is it just a blank screen for everybody?
Well, I
I
can
see
see
trees.
the thing. I can see the thing on the right where our dice are and stuff, but it's just black otherwise.
I see a little square. Oh, well, there we go. Yeah, I see trees, pine trees and stuff.
Okay.
All right, I'm reloading.
Want to make sure. It's like, oh no, is it not? Did I not get visible? All right. So you make your way around, or at least to the edge of this crevasse,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, you just kind of go around it. Just seemed like more of a terrain scenario than anything. What's his perception? Oh, 17.
We will make good progress today, I have a feeling.
That's 17. Will he see this? Let's see.
Can't wait till we start heading east.
It will be good to be or to continue heading the direction we were. Though I don't think anybody wants to deal with the cat again.
No.
Don't speak its name.
I don't think we ever got its name.
My token got fixed. Nice. Alright.
I'm imagining Neovar is just in the back looking a bit angry.
Grumble, grumble, if you will.
Grumble, grumble. So I gotta grab a scene here.
I need this.
Has
scene
so
to be
many
something other
scenes.
than black. Come on.
Not that one. My naming conventions could use some work to make it easier to find the scene that I need. Or some previews. Oh, maybe I'll get a mod that gives me better previews. Okay. So you go around this crevasse, and with your 17 perception, you are pretty confident. I mean, so do you so you look down and see the bottom and all that jazz?
Mm-hmm.
So you're pretty sure at the bottom of this crevasse, there looks like there's some kind of like ruins of a tower. It's no tower, but just looking down, just kind of seems like either a tower fell over down here or it collapsed or whatever the case may be.
So is it like rubble?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Some kind of
Would you
old
look
building.
at that? That's something.
What type of town does it look like? Like Neavara has seen lots of towns in her lifetime. Does it have any defining features? Like, is it like carved into the walls? Is there like gnomish sort of sized doors? Does it like blend into the nature like an elf city might?
That's very difficult to see as it is at the bottom of this.
Mhm.
So making out details, tricky. But it does look like it's predominantly made of stone. And it doesn't look like it was carved into the stonework or anything. Imagine if you had a tower and a giant hole in the ground formed under it.
Eaten up by the ground.
Or some kind of catastrophe may have happened which would cause this to happen.
Hmm.
Do you think I could use my dwarven stone cunning talent to tell us maybe anything more about it?
I think you'd have to get up close to it to inspect it.
Oh, we're not.
We're
No, this
really high
this
up.
is at the this is at the bottom of the crevice.
Yeah, we need to like go
okay.
down.
I had
But that's what you see.
So the tower must have a part of it intact that we can identify as a tower, right? Because it's not just a pile of rubble. We can tell it was a tower.
Yeah, so imagine looking down the the portions of it seem like, there's probably a foundation still there, kind of sorta roughly shaped, but if it were a tower, it must have fallen over or collapsed somewhere into the boundaries of a zone that you guys don't want to enter.
So part of it is in this sphere. But I say we move on around this crevasse because we don't want to touch anything that's even intersecting with that crazy cat's realm.
Yes,
Ooh.
let's keep moving.
Environmental storytelling.
I wonder what happened to that city. Oh well. Let's keep on moving.
Oh well. And so you continue moving, and you get past the crevasse, still staying well away from the boundaries of feline intervention, but you're probably giving it a good berth. This one is, yeah. Yep. So eventually, you come to and this is not where you saw the shiny thing at, but you come to what seems like a makeshift, like wood, sticks, stone, mud, just this hut. And the door seems closed, and doesn't seem like anybody's home, but
Well, I definitely want to knock on the door.
Be my guest, Kozak.
If it means anything to anyone, I think that it would be best to keep moving. We don't know how long we were in that bubble. We have quite a ways to go still.
This is true, but we are travelers, and I think it might be to our advantage to check out this hut before we move on.
So you knock on the door, and you hear footsteps. Come in, come in. Visitors.
Yes, indeed, visitors. Good day, sir, madam.
So they don't really open the door. They just say, "Come in."
I do have several companions with me. Is that all right?
Oh, I don't know if there's enough space for everybody.
That may be true. Well, in any event, I thank you for your invitation, and I kind of gesture. Does anyone want to come in too? About one person? No, just
Well,
me?
I'm not sure why we are we trying to find out some directions or
I open I go in. We're here. We've been invited in.
Hmm.
So you open the door, and inside is this cozy little like interior. There's like a little stone stove, a like I guess it wouldn't necessarily probably like an older metal, not rusty old, but just like old because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. So if you had metal something, then you can't really refine a little tea kettle. So just old, maybe like beaten up little tea kettle. There's a little fire going. It's really faint. Um, and there's like this what looks like a little old little old lady sitting in a rocking chair, and she seems to be knitting. Hello. Well, welcome.
I bow deeply. Thank you, madam. My party and I are travelers, and we've come a long way from the west through this forest. Well, I'm glad to see such a cozy house here.
Oh, thank you. My son, he's out and about currently, but I'm sure he'll be back soon.
And you folks live out here by yourselves, so close to that strange zone?
Yes.
Yes. Uh well, my name is Sir Kozik Deepshaft, and I am a dwarf. And what might your name be, madam?
Well, my son usually calls me Mom.
Of course.
But I suppose if for those who don't abide by needing to call me by such a title, well, Glacy, the pleasure to meet you.
And she extends like this old hand towards you as she like stops knitting.
Hmm.
I shake it as is the ancient custom.
Ancient custom.
Gently, though. I mean, she seems to be somewhat.
Yeah, she's pretty frail.
did you say Glacy or Lacey?
Glacy. Lacey with a G.
With a
Okay,
G.
thanks.
Okay, cool. Well, we're seeking a city, perhaps somewhat far to the east still, called Chronosis. Do you know of it?
Hmm.
Do a little holy roll here for her. She seems like she's thinking about it. Thinking about it.
Ah, yes. My son, he informed me that there is a pretty large territory to the east.
Yes. Yes. Well. And what are you knitting there? What are you making? It looks very nice.
Oh,
And she holds up pretty much what she has so far. And it looks like the gaudiest looking like sweater with what looks like flowers on it, and it's like very bright and colorful, and there's like like lily pads and
Quite advanced work. very nice.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm. And your son, he's out and about, is he?
Yes, yes. Out acquiring food for today.
Oh, so you happen to he must know these woods really well around this area.
That he does. That he does.
Hmm. And you think he'll be back soon?
Oh, and she takes a moment and looks out. Makeshift the what you would equate to being a window.
He should be back any time soon, yes.
Well, I'm not sure that my companions are feeling very social right now. We might just be heading on our way, but if we come across your son, what does he look like? Who should we be looking for?
Well, if you see a young man,
And mind you, this lady's human, by the way.
Okay.
if you see a young man with silvery hair,
And then she looks at you and then looks at herself and tries to figure out how to. The gears are turning.
well, if he was almost double your height,
Yes, I imagine so.
let's
Double.
see.
Because you're
Quite
like,
tall.
let's see, you're how tall again?
Like almost 5 feet.
Oh, you're tall.
Okay. Yeah. I was kind of tall. Okay. So maybe not double your height then.
He's
A
8
little
feet
bit
tall. Oh my
taller
God.
than you. Closer to my height, I suppose.
See. And well,
For some reason I
so
thought he
you
was like
folks
Cobalt.
live out here by yourself. Is there not other people around that you trade with, or perhaps a town or a village?
Not that I'm aware of. I stay here and make tea and prepare foods and knit sweaters and
Belch.
and clothing every so often. And I give them to him, and he comes back with more things.
Well, I guess I really admire you. You're really making a living out here. To me, this is quite a wilderness.
Well, he assured me that our little hovel is safe.
Hmm. Can I do a detect magic real quick?
Yeah.
I guess. Yep. I don't need to expend a spell.
But you still have to do the component, the verbal and what have you.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll wait till I get outside the house, so I don't spell right in the face. um. So, well, I guess I say, well, thanks for chatting, and it was nice to meet you, and maybe our paths will cross again. But I think my companions are anxious to continue our journey.
Very well. It was lovely seeing a new face out in these woods.
Yes, and you, and you. Uh, have a see. I don't know if you'd be interested in this, but as a custom, I mean, you've been very cordial to me. I'd like to leave you with a little parting gift. And it looks like I still have one of the dinosaur teeth from our adventure in the Feywild. and I give her I kind of hand that out to her, and I say, "Oh, this is from a fierce creature that we battled."
Oh, that certainly looks interesting.
And she takes it, albeit a bit
Perhaps you-
confused.
Perhaps you can turn it into a nice button, a nice clasp.
Hmm. Perhaps I
Then
can find something to knit this into.
And I take a bow and I take my leave of her.
All right.
Did you ask her what her son's name was?
Yeah, I was
She didn't
thinking that
say.
too.
I I can't say anything about what she was talking about because Velda didn't hear what she was saying, but I know what she was insinuating.
I mean, wink, wink. Share with the class, Veldrin.
Uh, her son's probably trading in Chronosis. That's why he's taking the sweaters and then he comes back with money.
Yeah, he's trading somewhere, clearly.
He's trading somewhere, but wherever he's going, there's people.
She didn't know anything about that though, so it's like, all right, I guess.
She's probably too old.
I mean, clearly.
She's still in there. Someone else could talk to her, but I guess nobody wants to. So
But she said he's coming back soon.
he did. Yes, yes. He her son should be back. She said any time.
We can do one of two things then. We could poke in, try and find maps. Or we could just ask her, like, hey, when you mean soon, do you mean like in like the next 2 moons or like today?
Well, I suggest
Kozik's
you
like,
introduce
I'm going to
yourself."
take my leave. All of us just rush in.
Oh no.
So yeah, I guess we should keep going.
But it would be funny.
I think I'm just gonna double check to see if she has a map that we can, look at. And she nabs
for it.
Opal around the arm and drags her in. I'm going to make a strength check because I think it's
400
funny.
pounds.
I think it's funny when she fails horribly at this. Yeah, that tracks. It's a perfectly
will not
reasonable
be-
amount of strength.
Opal will not be resisting, but I will roll in opposed. Ah, yes. -1. We shake hands.
Either way, the plan is her son, right? Travels.
Yes.
He might have maps.
That is probably true. I mean, if it's only a singular person, I can't imagine they would have multiple.
He might
Uh,
also be able to safely get us to Chronosis if that is where he is going.
This is very true, and I'm sure Neovara could use some time in a nice cozy house with a nice old lady rather than a horrible fake creature.
I actually think that there's little more that I would hate than being trapped in a house with an old woman.
Odd by human standards, yes.
I don't think you understand much about drow culture. I will let it slide.
Matriarch based.
What was your first hint? Let's go.
Yeah, go again.
Hi, ma'am. And she'll put on the sweetest
That good old
sort of
drow
face
charm.
that she can. She's not being a drow. She's just pretending to be some sort of elfish.
Oh, are you still Inanna or drow or?
She's right now. She's gonna be like the smallest elf waif that you can imagine. She looks like she's coming right out of an isekai.
Shit.
So, so
Hello.
a young looking.
Uh-huh. And my friends and I were just so lost. You mentioned that your son's coming back, my friend said?
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, so young.
And she reaches behind her and like pulls a box, and then she pops it open.
Here you go, dearie.
And it's like one of those like classic lollipops, like with a red and white swirl, and it's like as big as your hand.
Oh, take it!
Thank you so very much. And she'll actually take it and be like, this is such a wonderful gift. Thank you. My friends and I are trying to find Chronosis, but my friend Kozik mentioned that your son travels? Do you know where he travels to? Like what city he goes to?
She shakes her head.
No, he doesn't tell me.
Hmm.
Would he happen to have a study in this house? I know it's a small place, like maybe some maps.
No, he doesn't often stay here, as you can see.
And you kind of realize, even with you as a smaller creature and Opal, it's pretty cramped.
Mhm.
So your son lives elsewhere and visits, I assume.
Yes, he does. He's such a sweetheart.
Does he live nearby?
Sounds like it, how he explains it. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I am quite old. Don't get to get up and get out like I used to.
Oh, come on. Don't put yourself down. You barely look a day over 20.
Oh,
And she like reaches forward and does like the cheek pinches.
And she will sit through them with a smile.
Oh, yes. A smile.
Aren't you? Thank you.
With how we've been traveling, would it bother you all too much if we waited for your son to come back to converse with him?
oh, it
See if we can get some help.
wouldn't bother me. I don't really get to leave this hut. Like I said, these old bones don't move like they used to.
I can understand that.
Is
Regardless, I'm sure a bit of company would be nice, wouldn't it?
Is anybody else questioning whether her son's human or not?
We've
Got
not
a
asked.
feeling they might not be.
Well, I'm gonna go quickly talk with my friends outside. Opal, do you want to see if her fire needs tending or something like that really quick?
Yes, I will attend to that.
Very good. And Anna will duck out of the room.
Opal.
As
Well,
fast as possible.
Nope. Very
Opal will look,
controlled right until the end.
Yes.
gets to the doorway, suddenly vanishes from how taut her muscles are from trying not to run.
It's the Looney Tunes, like the outline. All right. Okay. No notes, nothing from the son, but he has to live nearby. Zedrin. your crow.
well, while they're doing that, Opal is helping her, tending to her fire, doing what she needs to.
And in exchange, Inanna is going to offer out to Kozik, hey, do you want a lollipop, by the way?
Yeah, I do. She didn't offer me one. I
It's
take
not a
it.
crow. It's a raven.
I'm sorry for mistaking the species. I'll call it a blue jay next time just to be cheeky.
You
Zed's
now
just
had to
gonna-
dedicate to the bit of calling it a different bird every time.
Only
I
so
gotta
many
deal with
Do you-
this. I gotta deal with this in 2 sessions now.
Yep. Pierce.
Do you
Oh no. What happened in your other
you-
session?
You remember Cuth?
Mhm.
He won't say my name right.
What
As
does he
like a
call you?
everything but Price. He's
Oh
called me
man.
Pierce or Preston, Parsley, just anything that starts with the letter P that isn't Price.
He gets way too close all of the time. Pierce.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking the piss
Um,
out of you, it sounds like.
Zed will. I almost called myself Price. Zed will send the Raven up just to see if he can scout, get a different vantage, I guess, from where we are now.
does anyone find it odd that she doesn't know where her son's house is, or if it's close by or not?
I find all this a bit odd.
Extremely. But like also I'm not going to insult some random old woman if I'm not robbing her.
Oh, I'm
Oh my
not.
god.
I'm not saying insulting her. I'm just saying something's not right here. She doesn't know where he lives or if he's close by or anything about it. And I'm just having a feeling that her son may not be either what she thinks he is or what we think he is, or I'm just having a feeling.
They're having that conversation outside. Opal's having a delightful meeting with an old woman. Helping her knit because, Opal's good with her hands. She's a
Oh.
crafter after all.
You're helping her knit. Oh, you have very strong hand.
My father was a crafter. He taught me many things.
Oh. You know, I could remember a time when I used to be the most beautiful woman in our village. Ah, all the blacksmiths.
Insight check.
No,
Sorry.
no. Opal's
Sorry.
not doing that. She is listening. She's
And
listening.
it's basically just long-winded, long-winded stories of her upbringing, living in the village, being young and, very active. And basically, she got around.
That takes a turn.
If Opal
It-
could blush, she would. She can't.
and basically just talking about how she, at some point, became a barmaid, and later on tried to do some crafting but was never good at it, and had a couple of kids, basically outlived all but one of them, and pretty much she basically retired and lives here pretty much.
So my friend told me that your son goes into town, trades. What else does he do, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, sometimes he helps me knit, much like you.
Ugh, sorry, taking a drink. Hmm. Silver hair, you said, correct?
Yes.
Hmm. Sounding oddly familiar. Probably just a coincidence.
Forbidden opal lore.
Shut. Hmm. And it's clear Opal wants to ask more, but she doesn't want to push. She's grown up with humans, or at least her father, and he's always kept to himself. She doesn't like pushing into other people's lives too much. She waits for them to speak.
As she happily regales you the tales of her upbringing.
Mhm.
She's got a lot of stories. So what are you guys outside doing?
Game planning. Did Zedrin
I
find
wanna cast-
anything?
I want to.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, I just wanted to cast this detect on the hut, see if magic. She mentioned something about a safety.
There's no magic on the hut.
No,
Nothing's picking
Alright.
up.
Not
The
sense,
heck?
especially arcane about the hut. In any event, and I kind of start rubbing my chin.
The hell happened to my grid?
The game planning.
I hit a button and I don't know what happened. Hold on.
I think we should. I mean, if we could wait for at least a short rest to see if the sun comes back and can help us, or we could just move on. Maybe we'll come across him or not.
I have no idea why I did that. Give me a second.
Okay.
I'm imagining people just occasionally peek into the house, see Opal with a pair of knitting needles. Alrighty. Plans to wait just a bit.
I know. It's because it casts this. Okay, I know what that is. All right. Sorry, I was fixing something. So plan.
Let me. Does Zed see anything like any signs of someone traveling through the woods potentially, or a home nearby? Through the eyes of the raven. The 16.
16. You don't see anybody traveling through the woods. And you don't see any huts nearby.
So, okay. So all the information I guess that we've gathered has been kind of relayed to the group so far.
I think so.
Zed's gonna he's looking out on the horizon. You kind of see him, he blinks back from being all starry-eyed and looking through the raven's eyes. And he's gonna look a little puzzled. You see him, he's scanning the horizon. But he's talking to all of you. So I didn't see any signs of anyone going through the forest.
Nope.
As I don't now. There's no pathways or anything leading to this house. You would think that if someone is traveling regularly,
It's the city that we passed.
no, I'm saying,
That's the
saying-
one she's talking about.
I know, I'm saying if the sun
Her, s-
is
he's
sh-
not. He's not.
Oh, he's a ghost, maybe.
If he even is coming at all.
She did mention all of her other children died.
I don't think there's any way of knowing when's the last time she even saw him. I mean, maybe in her mind it was he's coming any minute now, but maybe he's not even been by for we don't know how long or when.
Does Opal
know,
hear
she
this
might-
conversation?
Not be in touch with her
Probably
sense of
not.
time.
Well, then how does she live out here by herself? How does she get
So-
food or water?
she said that he was going to show up soon for food for the day.
Right, with food for the day.
And-
Maybe he comes
if-
once a day, maybe.
And if he comes and gets bits and bobs from her and he's not been around in a while, her place would be full of shit that she's been making, waiting for him.
Is it?
Was that a DM question or?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. She's pretty. Her house is pretty bare.
Well, if
Well,
there is
maybe
someone
comes
coming,
by
we'll
once a
know
day.
very soon. Right?
So my thought about that is, if someone's coming this regularly and actually showing up, why wouldn't there be any sort of path that they've just naturally created to make the trip easier?
Right, but coming every day, right?
If they're here all the time, we'd at least see a footpath, even if they're not clearing trees and whatnot. And it looks
Perhaps-
like there's just forests.
Perhaps
No,
he
it's-
travels by other means. Perhaps
Aye.
means of the arcane and the mysterious.
We'll just
Now that could be.
wait around, and hopefully he shows up. And if he doesn't, well, we're dealing with ghosts, everyone.
Or maybe she's an old lady by day and a young man by night, and she brings and goes and gets her own food. And she thinks in the day that it's her son leaving it. Just a
Can I-
thought. I've met some strange people.
Right, well, we just left a house where at night everyone turns into animals, and in
Well,
the day they're all
exactly.
people, so it's not out of the question. And then we
That's
also just got into a little weird pocket that we were slowed down and we were talking to a floating cat face. So,
highly likely then, eh?
yeah, I think you might be onto something. Can I
If we do
look
take
through?
if we do take a short rest, then I can recharge my magical batteries, so to speak. But if not, then we can move on.
If we're waiting around, can we do that then? And then anyone that doesn't necessarily need a rest, like, might be able to investigate some sort of equipment that you might have if you have anything. Zed is going to use the Raven to look around, but I mean, she said that her son was going hunting. Zed is gonna, if we're doing a short rest, he's not gonna go too far, but he's gonna go and kind of use the Raven as his eyes a little bit. He's gonna go try and see if he can hunt something, or see if he can at least find some sort of game that's near here. In the chance that he might run into the sun, or just actually be able to bring something to eat back.
Oof. So something to remember with the Find Familiar. If you're looking through your creature's eyes, you yourself are blind and deaf into the world around you.
Yeah.
So remember.
So he's yeah, I got you. He's having this raven, like fly around and probably he'll do like one scout attempt at the camp and then maybe try and move off in directions. I'll let everyone else say what they want to do too.
I'm into short rest. That's my whatever's clever.
It's interesting that Coffee actually figured that one out.
Yeah, well, a short rest sounds fine outside of while we wait to see what happens.
Well, I guess one of the group
Can't hurt
sort of
to
kind of
stretch
figured it out.
stretch out the
Kozik
legs a
was
little
on the
bit
right
here.
path.
I guess
Alright.
before Zed leaves too, or kind of starts to scout and go hunting, he'll acknowledge to the group. He's like, she'll probably like the company as well.
She does like to talk.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to have Veldrin Wild Shape.
What's wild shape?
Where he turns into an animal.
Okay.
Here we go. And I'll have him transform into a dog. And he, before taking the shape of a dog, like looks to Niavara to see if she's watching what he's doing.
I think Niavara was engaged with the group. She's like waiting and seeing what everyone else is going to be up to.
But yeah, Veldrin's a dog now. And I'm going to have him start smelling for, like, there's the smell of the party, there's the smell of the old woman. He's looking for that third smell of the sun.
Ah.
Right.
Clever.
So let's look at what doggo gets. Alright, so a dog. We have stats for a normal. Wild dog.
Sure. As long as it works.
Let's see. So they get a +3. Okay, so you can roll a perception. And it would be with advantage because it's based on smell. Advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on hearing or smell. Okay. So, and I take it you're sniffing around the hut.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you definitely sniff around the hut, and there is another scent that you pick up that is not of those that you know of.
Is it distinctly anything?
You
Like, is it
wouldn't know.
distinctly animal?
Let's see. I don't know if you'd really be able to determine that. Because the scent, because you're using the scent, it would give you details like there is another scent here, but it wouldn't really inform you of what the thing might be per se. It pings some. It's almost like a in some ways like a detect. It's like, well, you detect something else, but what that might be exactly, because I imagine you'd be able to just, for the most part, if it were just like, if it smelled like animal, like it probably smelled like dirt or shit or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd imagine, through process of elimination, you could probably maybe say it's not.
Okay.
Dropping things.
Can he start tracking the smell?
That would be a survival check. And since it's based on, what's survival based on? Wisdom, right?
Wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I just close? God. Okay, so 14. I mean, it definitely smells somewhere around the door, goes off a little bit, and just disappears. I mean, clearly it's an old trail, right? Like, be it the weather washes some of it away or just other creatures trampling the area as, forest creatures often do. But with the 14, you'd lose the trail eventually.
He will change back. There is a smell, but it is not a very recent scent. It's not strong like the rest of ours is.
When you say it's not recent,
So her story
how
checks
many-
out.
Well, it's not a recent scent. Does that mean not today or not for many days?
Was he able to determine that?
Not with a 14.
I could try again.
You could, but then I start raising the DC if it's repeated
Mm-hmm.
because it's representative of you sort of double checking, but you're just like, well, I'm sure I just checked it, but when you
Yeah.
do the double take, you're not exactly looking at it, as in depth as before, because like, well, I already checked it. I mean, I'll look again. So you could try it again, but just understand the DC goes up the more the more people try to repeat rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And you're using another wild shape to do this?
No one said if he should. He suggested it, but
Well, it would be interesting to know if it's been here recently and how recently, so that we know if her idea that it shows up every day is accurate or not.
I think her memory is bad. I think this is just something sad.
All right, so Kozik's napping. Zed is hunting. So if you're hunting, give me a survival check. That's stat you use for hunting.
Let's see.
Hunting. I don't want to. Generally not considered allowed to the room. And so typically, so in the short rest, typically you're not allowed to do hunting because hunting takes time, effort, planning, etc. But if you guys would do your short rest and wait after, then you would, because it would be at least, you'd have a couple of hours to be able to do it. So with a 12, we'll get back to you because in the first hour, Kozik, you would get your short rest in, and Opal, you would have had a full hour of this old lady telling you stories of her youth and her childhood and her adulthood and her middle age and all the way up to her old. She'll give you as many stories as you sit down and endure.
She is listening intently. Opal will not be rude to this person.
And what's everybody else doing? Well, I say, what's everybody doing for the first hour?
Sari's outside laying down on her back with her hands folded up under her head, just looking up at the canopy of trees, just relaxing and resting.
All right.
And she's also kind of trying to sense what's going on around her in the earth and in the trees and what the energy of the place feels like to her.
You can give me an insight check. With a 21, unease. Anyway,
That's
My worry.
the best word for your feeling is unease.
and I don't know whether that's about what
Nope.
I'm feeling right there now or what's coming, but something's making me uneasy.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, I hate it. Jokes.
You're welcome. You hate it for now. So then I'd probably say this. I mean, so it was yeah. So what's Veldrin and Nevar doing?
Veldrin's just kind of chilling, sitting.
Thinking about stuff. All right, Neavara.
I think Niavara would probably be like, okay, only so many places where this guy could be going, right? I think that she would be looking in the area outside. Because, like, okay, what would a dutiful son do for his mother who can't move? Obviously, he would take out her garbage, make sure her dishes are done. She would be looking around, like, the side of the house to be like, okay, there has to be signs of life somewhere that this woman is not starving to death. Because this is not a natural scenario. Women out in the woods by themselves die quickly. Oh yeah, did Kozik eat the
Well,
lollipop?
She's a woman, and Sari's a woman, and
Oh no, like old,
An old woman.
like there used to be a gruesome tradition in Japan of bringing your old relatives to
old
the
women.
woods. Yeah,
okay.
like this woman's age who can't move around on their own anymore.
Oh, okay.
The Ballad of Narayama.
And just taking them to the woods to die.
I don't think they leave him in the hut though.
No, but like, if she can't stand up on her own, how is she like, feeding herself? Like naturally, her son would have to do things like feed her, wash her dishes, make sure that her stuff is all taken care of. So she's like trying to sort out on the outside of the house, like, okay, something's not right here.
But she still could be an old lady by day and a young man by night.
She could be. And if Veldrin like tips her off that like the general air is uneasy.
No, that's sorry that got the unease.
Oh, sorry.
So Veldrin's just sitting.
Just chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know I'm one to be cautious, but I'm not feeling like something's not feeling right as I'm checking in, just with the place and the just being here. Something's making me really uneasy.
Join up.
I don't know what it is, but something's not right.
In what way? Also, did Kozik ever cast detect magic on the place?
Yeah, I did, and there was no particular magic aura. But she said she said something to the effect of, "No, my son like makes sure it's safe here." So I don't know what that means, but it's not like it's not like a magic spell or anything in the house. Well, we've waited. We've had an hour or so to wait, and then maybe even a little longer, and maybe we
Nothing.
should just move on.
Zed hasn't returned yet.
Oh well, we'll wait.
Oh, Zed's gone missing then.
He's gone hunting.
It's gone walkabout.
Hunting. Right.
So while you contemplate that, Zed, you were out and about hunting, and you were definitely having a hard time finding any animals around here. Like with you're just having so much difficulty with it. You yourself are not tailored to hunting, so you find this a very difficult task to find animals, and then you're just like, well, and you kind of shake your head because you're just like, well, technically, we do have an animal with us, and that's Alan, and I guess he's technically edible, but no, no, no. But with a 12, you're not really able to catch anything other than some
I'd also
grubs,
be-
probably.
I'd also be trying to, like, more or less, I was trying to see if I could find signs of the sun or run into him, and like kind of like if not, just see if there's even any animals around. So I guess it doesn't look like there's any animals that I can find.
None whatsoever.
Sounds like, wow, that's peculiar.
He'd probably just head back.
All right. Let's see, because you were there and there. So you can give me a perception as you're making your way back. Yep, definitely no animals nearby. But you are pretty still somewhat close to the parameters of that somewhat antagonistic feline.
Something's coming.
I think Niavara is going to do a little bit more of a broader investigation of the outside of the house. Like she's like, okay, something's not right here. She's actually going to like put her nose to the ground, not literally, and put all of her changeling hunting instincts to work here. All they are is her brains in her eyes. And that goes about as well as you'd think, based off that description.
Hurt brain.
Why aren't we in a city? That would make this so much easier.
It's good.
It's a
And
That's also
technically you are in a city of trees. Alright, so eventually Zed makes his way back, probably after like 2 hours.
Zed, my man, did you find anything out there?
I didn't find anything. Didn't really even find any signs of the sun either. Yeah, just like a confused look on his face.
Got a feeling that we maybe should get going, and maybe this innocent old woman sitting here might be set up as some kind of a trap or something that just doesn't feel right here.
It sounds like, sorry, you're getting further and further away from your microphone, like you're on the other side of a room right now.
Oh shit, is it? God, it must be using only my laptop microphone. Okay, I'm gonna deal with that. Sorry, thanks for letting me know.
I think to that notion though, as far as us getting out of here, Zed's gonna agree. He's gonna kind of walk to the door of the hut. I'm assuming it's open still because we've been kind of going in and out, but he'll knock and make his presence known. And he'll walk in. Hi, my name is Zed. And he'll kind of like rummage through his knapsack and pull out one of his daily rations, and just I'm assuming there's maybe like a little table next to Glacy, so we'll just present a ration. Just in case you're waiting on food for too long, here you can have that.
Oh, thank you.
And it's a little like not coffee table, but one of those like bedside tables that barely fits anything on it.
Right. I'll leave that here for you. And he'll look over at Opal. Opal, I
Yeah.
think we might be heading out.
It has been pleasant talking with you and hearing your stories.
Oh, I have so many years worth of them.
Mhm. Well, if I had infinite time, I would probably listen to all of them. Though we have a schedule to keep. Though hopefully our paths will realign soon.
Well, you know where I'll be.
Hmm. Hmm. And before I go, I just thought I'd ask, what's your full name, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I clicked on my wrong notes. I think I clicked on the wrong screen. Notes.
Glacy Flicker.
Hmm. Well, I'll send a sending spell. Is that the one that sends a message?
Mhm.
In the future, I'll send a sending message. Let you know how we're doing. Have a nice night.
You as well.
Zed's gonna step aside and just kind of like let Opal out the door.
Opal will leave.
Zed'll just do like a kind of cross one arm by his chest, put one arm by his side, just a little bow. Well, Lacey, it's a pleasure. Be well.
You know, if I were a few years younger.
And she's like,
Oh. He's slowly shutting the door.
Take the compliment,
He's gonna,
Zedrin.
he's gonna just turn back to everyone, just kind of wide-eyed, just not say anything.
Hey, getting it on with grandma.
Do you think it'll sound like pounding flour?
We should be moving, right?
I think more like sloshing milk.
Oh. Slightly.
so Zed, you can give me an
slightly
insight check as you're
All right.
hastily, not hastily closing a door. $13. What did DC for this be? Insight. Not really being deceptive. Trying to think how you would interpret a 13. I mean, it's pretty clear. You know, like little old lady being like, "Well, if I were younger," and she was talking to Opal about her younger days as, she got around, and maybe there's a flicker of recognition or something.
Hey. Recognition for who?
Zed
think it's
again,
Zed.
just a little wide-eyed as he looks at everyone, not saying anything.
Well, that's spooky, Zedrin.
We should probably go. Right. East, right. Opal.
Or south, as it were. I think we're still. Are we still skirting the?
You're still very far. Sounds like you're further away now. I think your microphone's picking up something.
I don't know why my mic isn't hooked up with my headphone. I did that thing you showed me once, Niavara. I went to, voice settings on the Discord, and it's saying that I'm hooked up on my computer, and it's not even giving an option for my headset. Although my headphone is set up for what I'm hearing, but it's not set up for the mic, and I don't
At
know
the end of
why.
the session, I might just reset your computer to see what happens,
Okay.
because
Alright,
that
thanks.
sometimes
Yes,
will fix the
sorry.
problem.
I'll come to my computer when. Sorry about that.
All right. So, little one taps Zed on the shoulder.
Hi.
What does she mean by that?
She just wants to get to know him in a very sweet moment with
should
him.
probably
Ah.
she probably thinks that I look like someone that she might have used to know. Coincidences and all.
Do you remember her?
No.
Oh. Okay.
Any chews on your hair?
I guess just for
Not
fun.
not even really like chewing on it, but just like he just has it in his mouth. It's kind of like a trained behavior. Like I don't need to chew on it to get the thing that I want.
Yeah. To distract him, he'll feed him a piece of gold.
Yeah.
Good distraction
roll-
tactic.
And now I roll well on a history check to see if I know this old lady.
You don't remember, Jack, about this lady.
Good.
But then again, you were from a sailor's port, and there's a lot of young ladies that come through, so.
Who knows?
But like nothing about the name or anything.
Nope.
Okay.
Good enough.
He just
He's
thinks
just-
he's hot.
Yeah, that's just weird. She's probably thinks she's seen one man in her life with a beard, and So Opal, we're going east, right?
Before we do that, Niavara, that was a lovely time listening to her, helping her with her knitting. I will do that. I will leave you in a room with somebody at some point, and you cannot object.
I can object.
Can't.
I can, and I'm telling you by way of saying, you could lock me in a room, and I'm going to squeeze myself out through the fence. Test me. Veldrin can tell you about my craftiness under pressure.
All it takes is a bit of preparation, and I will find a way.
I think that also
I
be
will
clever
make
by
a
the old
room.
lady.
I will
think
make
she's
a
saying
room.
you owe her for all that.
Exactly.
I will, and I can't stress this enough. Make a room that not even you can escape from.
You're just giving me new challenges to think of.
I know.
Regardless, I have an unending life. I am made of literal stone. She was lovely.
Then
But
why are you complaining?
I can feel wrinkles on this face. Because a lot of the stories were about her getting herself physical activity.
You should have just kept asking her questions. How did you do
Perhaps.
it?
No. I have no. I have no mortal need to do that.
No. I'm saying make her be quiet by making her uncomfortable by asking her questions that she doesn't want to answer.
Unlike you, I have respect for other humans. Or humans.
I doubt there's a
I will not
question that
do
woman
that.
wouldn't answer. I doubt there's a question that woman wouldn't answer. She seemed quite talkative.
It's almost like you knew what you would talk about. So you came in looking that young, so she handed you the lollipop.
Are you jealous that I got a lollipop and you got the sex talk?
I can't eat. No, I am not jealous.
That sounds like someone who's jealous.
I'm
Little
definitely
one-
gonna give the lollipop a try.
The other one taps Zed on the shoulder.
What's a
No,
sex talk?
No. I knew you were gonna fucking say something. Can we not?
Is that like puberty?
It's a different sort of conversation, but you typically have them at the same time.
You can't
Ah.
have it until you have gone through puberty.
Ah.
Ivora.
I'm giving
Wonder-
him a truthful answer.
I wonder when that'll happen.
As
Not
he
for
chews
a
on the
long
gold.
time.
He's a curious little guy. He's learning. He's a curious little guy. He's learning.
It's boring anyway.
So continuing, well,
Yes.
southeast, because you're still trying to go
Maybe.
around this whole thing.
Yes.
Random encounter. But they rolled high enough, so. Alright, so continuing towards the east, southeast at this point, trying to head east. But you're still staying on the outskirts of the perimeter. So everybody can give me a perception.
Oops.
Hmm.
There
Nice.
we go.
Ooh, nice.
Elva's still pondering. Got around a lot. One son who is still alive.
Alright, so just about everybody can see that there's a sort of a like a little clearing nearby, and this is after a good bit of walking. And still, you're trying to head east, but you kind of have to do a southeastern thing. So basically, to your left is the perimeters of the no-go zone. So in front of you, that is a little bit away from it, not too far, still like in eyesight kind of distance. There is a little bit of a clearing, and there is a lone hut.
No, not another one.
Hopefully you're sorry. What?
And outside appears to be a man with silver hair, appears to be humanoid, wearing
It's the
it's like a
sun.
plain white shirt, and he looks like he's like chopping wood and then like taking some of it and looks like maybe whittling some other wood. And Niavara, with your natural 20. Let me pull something up and make sure I got the right info. Because you got a natural 20, you can give me an Arcana.
Alright.
Juniper says it's Boyd still working on his toothpick 50 years later.
Yeah.
So 18, okay. Or 18 to 29. So you are looking at this dude. You guys aren't really being stealthy. So he sees you guys and waves like, hey. But with your natural 20, something seems off. Like, this dude is right on the edge of this whole, no-go danger zone. He's decided not to set up a hut near this old lady, which, is supposedly, because you haven't talked to him, but supposedly is his mother. And with that thought, off the perception, you blink for a second and something just seems a little weird, like maybe a pulse from the no-go zone, maybe the flicker of the sun. You're not really sure what it is until you think about it for a second with Arcana of 18. You get the feeling that how to interpret this. So you know how you're a changeling and you're able to change your body at will?
Mhm.
You get the feeling that this guy has the same ability, but through a more magical means. How he moves, how he's chopping wood, how he's cutting or whittling down. It's almost like they're in a body that's not natural to them, but ever so slightly. It's really, really hard to miss. And it's just sort of how they hold themselves, how they are, crafting things, almost like they're more used to, almost like a, yeah, you got a nat 20. Almost like somebody holding something in their hands that's way smaller than they're used to, but they've practiced enough to hide it.
So Neovar doesn't want to like automatically stop, but she will like slow down graciously. And she'll grab Sorry by the hand. While
is it?
tapping to Zedrin in a really like quiet way. And in Thieves' Cant, she's gonna tell Zedrin that thing changes shape. And to Sari, she'll say, that's not natural. That's not what that thing looks like.
Yeah, I'm getting the same unease I got at the old lady's house too.
That's a shape changer.
All right.
How far away from us is it?
Probably like 30 feet.
30. Ooh.
Zed's gonna
Okay.
acknowledge the Thieves' Cant,
Hey,
and he's gonna kind of
Eric.
just very
Hello.
friendly walk over it. Hi, hello. How are ya? Not gonna get too close. Maybe like walk 10 feet or so.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Oh well, bit of a long day. We've been traveling for quite a bit. We're heading out east. Would you happen to know Glacy?
Yeah, Mom.
We thought so. And he's gonna kind of glance back at everyone. And when he glances back, he's gonna kind of like lock eyes with Niavara and just give like like not a nod, but almost just kind of like one of those like blinks, as if like I know what you're saying, like something's up. He's gonna turn back. Right. So were you bringing some wood over there because she said she was expecting you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Gonna be getting some pelts to her, some food. Got some meats inside, some firewood for her little stove.
Oh yeah, it looked like she was working on something as well. She said that you were doing a bit of trading. Do you know like a place around here that we might be able to get you know, a proper meal and maybe find a nice place to stay?
Hmm. Well, nothing that's nearby unless you want to wander into. And then does the thumb over his shoulder, pointing to the zone you guys are actively avoiding.
Oh, are you saying there's a place in there?
I mean, that's where I go.
Right, inside check.
So I have to send in. Thank you for the raid, by the way, Eric. Hello, hello, welcome in. How you doing? I am Cubed. I am a dungeon master. And I also do variety stuff. And I gotta get an image to somebody because they see something on the natural 20. Boop. So on the 13, he seems legit.
So he's gonna kind of look over his shoulder where he's, you know, pointing with his thumb. Hi. You ever run into anything weird on your travels in that direction?
Oh, weird. There's weird everywhere. Oof. Sheesh, where do I even
That's true.
begin?
What's the weirdest thing you've seen recently? Will you start there?
Well, let's see. Whew. And he looks towards the vibrant leaves. A lot of weird stuff happens over there, I could tell you that much.
Right. You ever heard of a town a bit east of here called Chronosis?
Oh yeah, I've heard of that place.
Do you know possibly a good way to get there?
Yeah, you go east. That way.
So we've been told. I appreciate that. Well, I guess I'll leave you to it because yeah, we've got a ways to travel east, like you're just suggesting.
Well, if you're heading east, you know, I guess be careful.
That's the plan. Do you know of anything that's of immediate threat?
Hmm. He seems to be thinking about it. I mean, I guess you don't want to get eaten by wolves or attacked by dangerous birds or anything like that. Typical wildlife stuff.
Speaking of wildlife, what's your favorite hunting around here?
Let's see. Around here, bears.
Oh, well, that's not meager hunting.
Nope, but they got a
how are
lot of
you-
meat on them.
How are you handling all that with your lumber hacks there?
Yep.
You take down a bear with an axe?
Don't you?
No.
Oh. There's an awkward silence at that.
He's gonna just look behind him at everyone else, who I guess is probably still a few paces behind, either catching up or just like hanging back. Um, so the suggestion was Chronosis is east, and he kind of like does like he's got a face on that's just very um just like plain, just very dry, but he's almost kind of shaking his head like to you all, like, yeah, we already knew this. So, should we just keep moving?
Think that we thank him for his time. And we should, not occupy it more than we absolutely have to. Let's get back to going quickly.
So Neovar, you got the
Yeah.
thing, right?
Huh?
You saw the thing?
The message. Oh,
Yep.
I heard a bing, but I didn't look. Oh no. Is that what she sees?
For a brief moment.
Share these.
You don't want to share these. Neovar grabs Vel by the hand and is just like, Veldrin. Gosh. With your delicate constitution, like, we need to really get you out of the sun quickly. My brother, he's just, underground races, what can you do? We just have to get to and she's pauses before saying the word safe.
He looks confused for a second because he's like, and then he goes along with it.
Thank you for your hospitality, sir. And please give your mother our well wishes. We stopped by Opal and loved talking with her.
She was a lovely woman.
But we really need to be going quickly.
Yeah, that she is. She's a lovely woman.
Mm-hmm. And again, she's using Thieves' Cant to Zedrin and saying monster. Big monster.
And so Zed is like probably 15 to 20 feet from this thing, and his back is turned to it, facing the rest of the group. And as he hears this, he just kind of like gets a little wide-eyed, and he'll slowly turn just to face Axe Man.
Yeah.
You're just staring awkwardly at him, and he's just like looking at you. Can I help you?
Right, like, no, anyway, like we were saying, we should probably go.
All right then.
Can you point us to Chronosis by any chance, sir? Neovar is
yeah.
gonna test her luck.
He points east.
Death through the hay.
Let's say, on a hypothetical, I don't like the cat in there. Because I got a little bit, prideful.
I don't think he's pointing inside the bubble.
But he did say he goes in there all the time.
He said, yeah. So he said that that's where he goes to travel to, like, so the town that he goes to travel to is apparently in the bubble. That's so he like did a thumb over his shoulder. And then when I asked him about Chronosis, he pointed off east where we were already headed. So I think those are like two different directions.
Oh. See, I thought we were currently going south and we need to go east.
Well, we're going south and east around the outside.
Yeah, we're like
of
going
the
around
bubble.
the bubble.
Understood. Any advice for weary travelers?
I thought we were getting out of here.
We are.
Yeah, I'd probably say be careful out there. There's all sorts of dangerous animals and monsters out there. You never know when you happen to run into one.
Suppose we don't. Stay safe yourself. And your mother as well.
Yep, I'd make sure she is well taken care of.
Mm-hmm. And again, she's grabbing Veldrin, and at this point, she's like almost putting her coat over his head to like pretend like, oh my god, he's gonna like faint the sunlight. Let's go.
Oh, I've been forgetting to do that. Damn it.
Yeah, he just totally follows along.
And coughing to Sir Cozy like, let's go.
Walking quickly away.
He's waving as you guys leave. Have a good one.
Neovar will wave back because, shapeshifter to shapeshifter. Game recognizes game. On the other hand, Neovar is tiny game, fish in the water to that.
Well, it can't hurt to be nice to the monster.
No.
I mean,
How
not
far
that
do we need to go?
Neovar might know what that is, but yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head. I have filled my brain with Eberron knowledge.
Nice.
Are you
And
going to tell us what you saw?
I imagine once suitably out of earshot.
Oh my god, yeah. No,
Okay, we're out of earshot. What'd you see?
I'm actually gonna reverse image search it. I think I have an idea of what it is, but I don't know off the top of my head.
But what did you see?
It's he's a big guy, really, really big guy. Blue skin, long claws, big teeth.
How did you see that though when we only saw a human man?
Maybe he wanted me to see it. Did you consider that? I recognized him
No,
from the
I'm
start.
just asking. I'm just asking. So
Frank-
you saw him in that. You saw him the whole time. You saw him
No,
in that
only for a
form.
brief moment.
Ah, okay, for a moment. All right.
From the start, I sort of noticed it like and she's like struggling with how to describe it. Like when you can tell that someone's wearing clothes that are too small for them, right? Like if and like this is
So,
like, grotesque. Like they might have like a little camel toe, and like once you see it, you can't unsee it, right?
Opal flashbacks to the grandmother. Hey. Why?
That's
Like-
your problem. Oh,
Like a far too small puppet being used by strings, but from a creature far too large. Maybe. Similar to you in any aspect in Neopatra?
no. I am a fae. That was a giant.
Oh, I see.
It's called I'm not fucking around and finding out. I found out what it is. It's called an I probably in character should roll what it is.
Yep.
I'm gonna roll into the it's a giant because it's too bigger than her. Like, look at me. I'm not getting much taller than I already am. Like, I can grow a little bit bigger, but like, I cannot grow that big.
Hmm.
It was struggling to maintain that medium-sized form the same way I would struggle to maintain a tiny-sized form. I don't belong in a size that small. Would that be a nature check?
For this circumstance, so you're trying to determine what the creature is, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be nature.
Who's that Pokemon?
That's a giant.
It's an
Not
actual
only was it
fucking
a giant, it's what's called an Oni. Onis, yeah, because it's based on nature. You gather this much. Onis are very, at least as far as the textbooks would go, they're very devious. They're very deceitful. They have for one, they are very if you aggravate them in any way, which sometimes is not very difficult, they have a tendency to use their powerful claws to rip you to shreds. Or if the claws aren't good enough, they often have some kind of a weapon with them. They have an ability to essentially have polymorph, so they can turn into a lot of different things. You would know that even with the most potent of defenses, their abilities function as if they were magical weapons. So like if they claw you, then they function like magical weapons. You know they are very difficult to kill because they regenerate almost like I don't know if you know what that creature is, but they have an ability to regenerate. So not only are they very deadly and they can bypass your defenses, but they have an ability to just heal wounds very quickly. And to throw extra, insult to injury, they are innately capable of casting spells. All of those things individually might not be an issue, but those things combined make for a very terrifying creature.
And Neopart will explain what she knows as she's like, listen, it's called I don't want to fuck with that. I don't think you guys are mad that I said nah.
No, I'm fine. Let's get out of here.
Like again, game recognizes game. I think that's why I saw a hit. Like and she snaps her fingers. Heartbeat second there. I saw its real form. Like a sort of like snake that is shedding its skin. Ugh. Disgusting.
Peeking through the blinds.
Which only leaves you to wonder, why is he taking care of a little old woman? And with your 19, some Onis are known for feeding off of their victims for long periods of time. Whatever that may mean. Actually, with the 19. Yeah, some Onis are known for tricking people into, doing certain things for their betterment. Yeah. Hence the deceitful part.
Yeah. He's probably going to eventually eat her.
Well, then we've got to kill it.
I mean, like, he's probably not going to eat her right now. Like, okay, hear me out here. She can't move, right? He's probably going to eat her when she actually dies and, like, use her until she stops.
No, we've got to kill this thing.
But, like,
We
hear
can't
me
leave
out.
it.
Like, one more time. All of her kids are dead. This Oni is, like, he's taken the form of one of her dead children. All of her
Right.
kids probably died in that. And she points to the city that fell. Cities collapse, right?
Or he's been
Eh,
feeding on this family for a while.
and they're all gone
She-
now.
So as I was leaving, she looked at me as if she recognized me. Now, she was also telling Opal a whole bunch of stories about when she was younger and like her whole life and whatnot.
Mhm.
You think that she's just gonna like hang out and then like I don't know how this thing works, but I'm almost inclined to agree with Sorry. Like we know that there's something bad going on.
Yes, many things bad are going on here.
Well, if it's not
Um,
her, it'll be somebody else that he'll be deceiving and feeding on. We can't just leave this thing to feed on people. We've got to kill it. It's evil.
yes, very. What happens to her after, though, is my question to you.
Well, we don't know if he's even feeding on her. Maybe she is his mom and she's one just like him.
That's a human woman. I
All
think.
right then.
I didn't check. And Kozik only cast detect magic, and I don't have sense evil and good. Although it wouldn't even detect that because they're a fucking giant. I mean, we can. And she's like, "Oh my god." He hunts bears with an axe. We're going to get our ass kicked, but like, okay, I don't even disagree with you. Like, he's a threat to like any human he comes across. Some poor miserable smuck just walks through here on the woods like la di da. I'm just here to find, my humble trades, and then they get fucking smashed over the head.
He was quite cordial to us.
Yes. But like we're also
Yeah,
a big
maybe
group of
he
people.
just fed or something.
And we're a big group of people. If we're a big group of people traveling in the woods, we are probably capable, if not of killing him, then making his day really suck. You know?
You may be right.
Die.
So what do we do? Do we try and go kill him?
I mean, in Niavara, let's put it simply like this. We kill him, she dies anyways.
Yeah, alone in the woods, not
She's an
taken care of.
old woman. If he wanted her dead as a snack, he could have very well done it by now.
No, he's using her for other reasons, and then he's probably gonna eat her when she dies. No, in my brain, I'm more like saddened by the thought of he is taking care of her, and then we kill him, and then she's just gonna waste
He's taking
away.
care of her for his own evil purposes.
But do
Can
we
she
want
tell
to
the
have an old
difference?
woman as our responsibility right now?
Exactly.
Or her death
That
on our conscience?
that
That's where my
and
problem is.
yes. I say we leave him as is. We don't deal
Isn't
with
it on our conscience either way?
It is.
That's right.
It's we're picking the lesser of two evils. Do you feel better about knowing that that thing is feeding on this old lady and potentially keeping her alive? You saw how frail she was. We were talking about quality of life. I mean, she
Well,
did
she's
seem
also she
very
weighs
pleasant,
nothing. One of us could
but
carry her till the next village.
And where is
Maybe
the next village?
I don't know, but we could carry her to the next village, find a place for her. After we kill that thing,
in theory I could send a sending to those lovely wood people. They might be willing to take her in.
oh yeah.
And I could ask
Although we're
them.
not going.
We could backtrack a little
Huh?
bit. We're not too far away from it, if you recall.
Yeah, is that we haven't
Well,
gone too far, eh?
you're at least a day out from them.
At least.
That's
But like that's why we
that's
send the
not too
sending.
bad.
Because they might have moved anyway.
No, they said. Well, that's right. Well, they said they stayed around a week. We just don't know how long they've been there.
And this might
We
just
don't-
be my own sensibilities, but I do not wish to do
Now they're
anything
in
that might result
Witcher
that old woman's
territory.
demise.
damned if you do, damned if you
Well,
Well,
don't.
leaving her is a,
I don't.
you know,
Yeah,
is contributing
I felt
to her demise.
I felt odd
maybe
about the
some
situation, not knowing what all was going on, but just knowing that that's a mother and that's her son. And now that I'm more aware of the situation, I just, being honest, feel very conflicted. I do understand both points because we can't rightfully take care of her, and what, are we just going to stay here and just take care of her until the end of her life? Are we going to try and bring her through this forest with us as adventurers? That's probably not safe either. There's no real good way of getting through this, but the idea that this thing is, I can't wrap my head around thinking that it's taking care of her. This thing is using her to take care of itself.
maybe it's stealing
That's
her
a
energy.
that's a possibility.
It is magical.
The possibility that this creature is evil and using her to feed off of is a possibility. We do
How
not-
A
about
pretty good one.
we
I'm sorry. We have two drow. Normally, they are horribly evil things. We aren't batting an eye
hey,
at them.
They're not.
That is no insult to either
Horrible
of you.
and evil.
I'm saying
right?
normally. For all we know, that this could just be a creature trying to guide a human woman through the end of her life.
I mean, we can go ask him about it and like give up this element of surprise and just, chat him up. And like when he smacks me into the ground dead, I mean, we'll find out, I guess.
That's about what will happen.
I think that that's the only way of figuring out the difference, though. Am I wrong?
If you were feeding on some old lady and a group of folks that just stumbled across your spot in the middle of the day asks what you were up to, would you tell them?
Well, that's why we interrogate him a
I
little bit
have a
harder.
I have a question for you, Niavara.
Yeah.
Do you have the sense that that thing could have fought us all and won?
I don't know. That's the problem. So give me a second here. I'll explain it how my meter works. I think to myself, oh, can I, Niavara, take it on? The answer is almost always no, unless the answer is yes.
That's a good way to think about it, yeah.
But I don't consider moving parts. Like Zedran, it's not that I don't think about you, but rather I don't consider you as part of the battlefield. You understand? I'm a solo person. And I'm now moving with a big group of people. Maybe Niavara can't take it on. But I don't know. You guys clearly are talented enough to be here too. Like Kozik has done something in his life to be worthy of the Dark Lady. Priced above. Traveler's tits. How'd that happen?
What? It's about me now?
No. It's me saying, Zedran asked, can we take it on? Do I think we could take it on? And the answer is, I don't think I could take it on, but I don't often think about how the group takes things on.
After all this time, you still don't think about it.
I don't want any of you to get hurt. And then she covers her mouth up. She's like,
Oh,
you didn't hear that?
You just say that?
You didn't hear that? That didn't happen?
No,
Writing
but
that
Traveler,
down.
forgive me.
I'm writing that down in the map that is my mind. It will never leave.
The Fury take you all.
All right, if we want to keep moving,
Or we
then we
could
should.
go
No.
interrogate the motherfucker.
We've got to kill that thing. If it's doing what we think it's doing and it's feeding on that poor lady, we can't leave it.
We can also just watch the old lady's cabin. She says he hadn't been by. That's what I would
to
do.
see what he does with her.
Yeah. If he just visits and drops off stuff for her, and then he comes out with the stuff that as she said. If it's as she said, and he comes by, and he brings her food, and takes some of the stuff that she's knitted for him, what are we gonna do about it? That's pretty much as it is on its face.
And something else I will take into consideration. If he was just using her for food, if he was just using her for his own advantage, why would her cabin be in such nice shape? Why
He
would
could-
she be in such nice shape for such an old woman? Why would he put in so much effort into making sure that she at least has a pleasant end to her life?
To betrayal? I don't know.
I was going to say as well to that point, Opal, you spoke with her for quite a long time.
Yes.
And all the stories that she was sharing, if there was ever some sort of
Stories of
wrongdoing
promiscuity.
or off-putting sort of nature, I'm sure she would have shared that as well. So as much as like I said, feel conflicted about this, maybe you're right, and we just leave it alone. But
If I learned
I like-
anything from her, she had many partners. Many. For all we
What
know,
the
this
hell
could
has that got to do with
literally
anything?
this could literally be her son taking a form
Listen,
that won't immediately aggravate adventurers into attacking it.
Iavara is still
Listen,
my sister,
listen.
even though her form isn't like mine.
Let's go, like
True.
we said, go back and stealthily, quietly keep an eye and see what the interaction is like. I could live with that. If he's treating her well, I could live with that.
Fine.
The
I'm
reluctant.
pretty sure that he will have the jump on us. Keep your hands at the level of your eyes, if you understand what I mean.
Sunderland,
get-
that's already.
what if we get like far enough away to where I could just keep an eye with the Raven?
That's a great idea.
Would Neovar
Like,
have a pretty good understanding of its general abilities?
Oh, I just explained them all.
It can be invisible. At will.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. Okay.
Yeah. It
I
can
mean,
just turn
it's just
invisible.
one of the thing. It's just one of the many things that they can do because they have innate spell casting, but you didn't roll a natural 20 for me to It was a good roll, but it wasn't above a 20.
It's like a tweaker. They can just turn invisible and stalk you. And
Then why
will
not,
know it's
after we
there.
passed it by, why not start taking us out?
It might have. Maybe where it's next meal. Have you considered that?
Yeah, well, he did make mention of being very careful because there's monsters in the woods.
They like to play
Actually-
with their prey.
Something, a little bit of a rollback because I didn't think about this. Belgian, you can give me a perception check with advantage. So that smell that you picked up when you were a doggo, it was definitely this
Mhm.
guy.
Okay.
I mean, you pretty much figured it out, but yeah, just to further confirm.
hmm
So we know he goes over there.
I think he's just taking care of her. Even if it's to
Wait.
eat her eventually, he's not doing it now. She doesn't seem upset. She wasn't begging Opal for help. She wasn't telling horrible stories.
It was stories of a life
True.
well lived in her own way, and now
I
she's
will say,
sitting in the woods knitting sweaters for her son.
I am so glad you
right.
brought that up,
Now-
Opal. Give me a little
Oh.
history check. Anyway, go ahead, Zed.
Oh God.
And he's going to acknowledge everything that Veldrin and Opal are saying. Granted, it could be some sort of magic manipulating her mind, and he's going to point to his the side of his temple. However, when I was speaking to the fella, and he said that the way he travels to go do trade is over his shoulder in that weird bubble that we were all in that we can't really move hardly. What was the only other thing that we came across inside that bubble that seemed like it was moving freely? That could take the shape of other forms and was communicating with us.
You're saying that the Cheshire Cat, that stupid motherfucker, was also the fucking Oni.
I'm saying there's a good chance that they have some sort of relationship because we were getting sort of baited by that little cat face to keep going on in that area. And
It wanted us to
this
sleep in
fella
there.
was
That's
telling
what-
us that the town that he trades in is inside there. Not really goading us in there, but kind of being like, well, yeah, that's where I go. You know he's very magical and capable,
Layered
Mhm.
decision paralysis.
and he's
It's
got a
real.
camp
Awesome.
right next to where this little pocket of weirdness is. There's got to be
Mhm.
some sort of connection with all this. Now, I acknowledge that Lacey did not seem distressed at all. I don't know if I could just assume that she's fine, but she's not giving us any reason to think otherwise. That fella, outside of what Iavara was able to get a glimpse of, didn't give us any reason that he's up to no good either. I'm not, like I
Other
said,
than
I'm
just the
conflicted, but we
rancid
do,
vibes he gave off.
we are also kind
What's
of,
that?
Finish up, Zed. Sorry.
I was just saying, if we are going to be moving on, then it seems like a few of us are willing to put this past us, and like you said, Niavara, you could send a message to Miss Glacy here in a day and just see how she's doing.
Listen, if we know this thing as an evil thing and it's devious and it likes to play with its food,
Again,
and
Drow.
we know right where it is, we don't know that he's going to be nice to her tomorrow. I'm very conflicted, but I can't leave something evil to mess with people. And plus, he might be turning invisible and following us and hunting us. I mean, we know where he is right now.
I'd
don't-
rather him
I-
hunt us than do anything to her.
No,
if
I'd
it
rather
wants a
we
fu-
kill it.
If it wants a
Sorry.
fight, I'll give it a fight. But I agree. And that's like I said, I'm conflicted because like Veldrin and Opal are right, and everything they're suggesting. We don't really know the scenario of the relationship between this thing and the woman that we met. There could be something quite nefarious going on. I've never heard of this in my life. So I'd like to err on the side of caution and not take chances, but at the same time, I would hate to kill something that's actually keeping this woman alive. And if we are wrong in our sort of notion, and this may be an evil entity by nature, but it's not personally evil, then we've just maybe ruin this woman's life. And that'd be tough to live with as well. And without
Or
knowing,
you
and
want to wait
again, if
till
we
it
go
proves
ask
that
the
it's
fellow,
evil?
he's like, "Oh, are you going to kill this woman and you torturing her?" Is he just going to say, "Well, yeah"? If he is, I don't think so.
Can I
I
say
don't
And if
something?
think so. Please.
Sorry.
if you want to keep an eye, like I said, I feel like the safest thing to do would be keep our distance, and I'll just peer through the eyes of the raven and watch the hut for however long.
Sorry.
What did you want to say, Vildren?
If you found me randomly out in the world without any context, what would you think?
I don't know what you're asking, really.
Mind you, sorry,
Look at me.
but sorry,
Look at
out
what
of
I am. If you saw me out in the world not knowing that Neovara was my sister and who I am and seeing what I do now, what would you think of me?
I'm not gonna. I can't. I can't imagine that right now because I do know you.
And
If
you
we
don't
want to
know
wait,
him. He looks like
if we want to
something that
wait, if
he
it,
looks like a thing that you have been told is the enemy, and he might not be, and you are trying to
so
make a decision for someone
so
else that
if
you do not know.
not just for someone we don't know, but for anybody he might
He might not be
hurt.
hurting her. You are assuming he is
Exactly.
hurting her
No,
because you do not like what he is. You are
listen.
assuming that.
I think what we should do, if we need evidence that the creature acts in an evil manner, then we're going to have to wait. Then we're going to have to just watch for a little bit and find out.
We also have things that we need to go do.
Sure, but we stay a day here and 3 days there and 5 days there. I think we can just wait
Why
a
don't
minute
we
and
cut some of
see.
those days out where we can? I think this is
And
one of those things that we can let go.
I think we could see if it behaves in an evil manner.
I think
Because if it's evil, then we need to get rid of it. And if it's not, then that's great that it's taking care of that old woman. And I'd leave it alone. But let's find out if it's hurting people or things or whatever.
We have places we need to go and things
No,
we
I'm
need to
sorry,
do,
that
and we
doesn't
can cut out
matter.
days. We can cut out days
That
here or
doesn't
there, and
matter.
this is
It
one of
doesn't
those things
matter.
where I feel like we can cut it out
It
because
doesn't
she is
matter.
taken care of. If she is eaten, so what? She would be
It
eaten by
doesn't
the
matter.
worms and the mushrooms and the dirt
No,
anyway.
I
Veldrin.
can't
She is
leave
eaten
something evil
anyway.
that hurts other beings
How do you
to
know she's being hurt?
just carry on
I
and
How
hurt
do
haven't
you
seen
people.
know she is being hurt?
I haven't seen
Veldrin.
any
Exactly.
evidence
Let's
she's
wait
hurt at
around and
all.
find out.
If I
Exactly.
may,
Can we
Veldrin,
wait and see? Can we keep an eye on it for a
If
little bit?
if I may, Veldrin, I understand what you were trying to say. I'm on your side in this regard. For all we know, this thing is just a decent guy helping an old woman live out the last days of her life. Sorry, you are a half elf, yes?
Yeah.
Unlike, well, you still live a long time, sorry. I think Sorry wouldn't be able to sleep very well at night knowing that this thing could be evil. Let us not give anybody regrets that they might be up at night remembering. And in the case that
Take a little
you
time
are
to find out.
correct, I would rather know, however long I might live, that I did the right thing. And if we waste time, if he's just a good guy, we leave. We will get back on the trail. We will continue our journey. Nothing will have changed. Because a bunch of us want to, we want to keep moving, but most everybody else wants to at least make sure that she's not being taken advantage of.
I'm not even sure what crime we're assuming has been committed against her. Is he some sort of energy vampire
We don't.
siphoning her energy?
For all
That's
we
the
know,
Question.
he could be using her hut in the middle of the woods as an adventurer buffet.
Oh, don't say that. You're going to
I didn't smell anything like that.
There was no smell of blood, yeah. And I
There
didn't
was
see
no
any
blood,
blood
there was
either.
no other people. It was just him and her. And us.
Did you sniff his? Did you sniff his? Did you sniff his area?
I don't
We weren't
see any
there very
any
long.
reason to have some sort of posse against this guy and a nice old woman, but I'm willing
I'm not
to,
saying we do either, Kozak.
I'm willing
We're not-
to
let's
wait and we
just-
can camp out and observe. That would be fine, but
That's
I don't know
all
where
I'm
this
suggesting at this
newfound
point.
sort of idea of like stopping and for reconnaissance and figuring out what's going on is coming from. But I'll cede to that. It can't hurt us.
Like if this was my father in this situation, I think I'd want to stop. I might not be human, but my father is. I want to be able to make sure that this old woman's at least getting a life that is good. Even if we weren't able to find any sign of that. Or a bad life. Shall we? That and you and I are the only two people who know where Chronosis is, and I have the directions in my head.
So how shall we pause? How shall we reconnoiter in order to assault the creature?
We're not gonna
We're
assault him.
just keeping an eye to make sure he's not hurting
Should
her or
we
anyone
make
else.
camp?
The ultimate
we-
Opal power move. I have the map.
Should
Right.
we wait several hundred meters away and peer at this guy while he chops wood for how long?
Or alternatively, we are a group of. Fuck, I had the number in my head and it immediately left. 1, 2, 3,
Five.
4,
Six
5,
of us.
6. 6 adventurers.
5 without.
We
without
could
the
very
dog.
well, with Miavara's knowledge, go up to him and ask, with our defenses ready, of course, what his intentions are.
I think to Kozak's point, or not Kozak, Zedrin's point is that he will just probably lie and be a little bit weirded out by us asking.
If we
Do-
camp close by and he's got evil intention, he might just come at us, and so we'll know.
Okay. So Niavara fully goes down to her little changeling self as she's like, okay, here's the two sides as best well I see them, right? Monster, right? And she gestures to herself when she says that. Things that are commonly seen as evil or assumed to be evil. Like we've met lots of commonly considered monstrous things on our journey so far.
We have 2 of them in our party.
Yeah.
Right.
Jane-
And we give him we consider the individual, which is what I'm asking now. That we just consider the individual.
We
I've
consider the
backed
individual.
off from my desire to kill it right away. I hear what you're all saying, that as an individual, he might not be evil as his kind are. And I agree with you. And so I think just finding out would be a good thing.
Well, tremendous. And Kozak leans his back against a tree and folds his arms, and what now?
Let's go keep an
Well,
eye
like
on
I've suggested probably 3 or 4 times,
Yeah.
we could get about in range to where I can have the raven perched up on a tree and watch the hut.
Mhm.
and so we're far enough away to
set
where
up set up camp or
Let me
if
make sure I
we're
still have this.
detected for whatever reason, that would be slightly odd. And we're far enough away to where we shouldn't be deemed as a threat. So if anyone does come across us
That
and
sounds
say,
great.
"What are you doing?" We're literally just making camp because we've been walking, trying to get to Chronosis. We aren't
Sounds
doing
perfect.
anything nefarious. And if
That
it'll help us
can-
all sleep better at night, knowing that this thing is up to, you know,
Normal
doing
business.
good
some
and
sort
not
of
ill.
some sort of careful deed, then
Right.
and if we watch for a while and we see nothing, because as it's suggested, it can be invisible and do whatever the fuck it wants, then we did whatever we could and we move on. It's not like we're gonna have to stop and take a rest anyway. I don't. It's just
Oh, also, I do have the invisibility. So we could, go
Oh,
keep it
you've got
up.
invisibility.
I can only cast it on myself. But
Do you
or,
have
well,
it at
in
will?
Oh, that's great.
Permanently?
I don't have it at will. No.
Well,
Do I
how
look
do you
that-
do it?
Send the Raven, and
How
see
do
what
you
the
do
Raven
it?
sees.
It's a spell. Sorry.
And how long does it last?
1 hour.
Okay.
An hour of scouting time to do what one person pleases. I can do it to any one of us.
Well, maybe we could let the Raven watch, and then if something's going on that Zed can't quite see through its eyes, that can be a backup to go see what's happening.
Very true.
Well, we're
Let's
committed
just-
to waiting and seeing, so let's let the Raven do what ravens do.
are we?
How
I guess
how far
as
is
far
this
as
place from the other cabin from the old woman? How far apart are they? Yeah.
It's a good bit. Less than a mile, so I can't convert
Less than a
into
mile. Okay.
feet.
so
So
Less
roughly
than a mile.
like a couple minute walk.
so I'm
Through
I guess
trees.
I'll suggest. All right. How about instead of watching the hut, we just watch fella that's supposed to go there soon, and just see what he does, because his
Yeah,
camp's
that's
much
what I'm
closer.
thinking.
And if he starts going back toward where Glacy is, then we just kind of keep the Raven around and we keep our distance. And one of y'all can
Just see what he does.
direct me, because I'm not going to be able to see or hear anything. But yeah, we just follow him, see what he does.
That sounds great.
Also, DM, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be fair, considering Niavara did point out the fact that this thing has invisibility at will, that Opal could try and keep an ear open for things that are perhaps stalking around the forest? Because while invisibility does mess with our visual perception, it cannot hide audio.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point too. Veldrin would be able to smell someone potentially if they're invisible. And you still make noise depending on what you're doing.
And if I have to roll perception, I will. Because I recall my perception is good. Wait one second.
I mean, you can roll perception, like if you're listening, but there's also a lot of things that go on in the forest. So
Very true.
So are we close enough to this guy's logging area, to where I can have the Raven kind of like perched up on a branch in a tree and just keep eyes on him?
I mean, as long as you're 100 feet away, because that's the range on it.
Mm.
I I would like to get close enough to be in that range, because the Raven doesn't have to be right up on him. We just have to be within 100 feet of the Raven.
Yep,
Maybe
you
the
do.
group should be farther away, though. The whole group, because that's a little close for, being in his territory.
So
And then you could scout out with the Raven.
Zed's gonna.
Well,
let's see, I'm gonna
100
make
feet
sure-
is very far,
Mhm.
especially considering forest.
Okay.
Just want to make sure. Is it an action too? Oh, bonus action. Perfect. So Zed's gonna use his action to hide in the forest, hopefully granting him cover and some sort of stealth. I will also roll stealth if you want me to, because I don't want to be seen. While my perspective is from the Raven.
So I would say we roll that next time because I get the feeling it's going to get buried in a bunch of other rolls. So that way we can just
Yeah.
start up with rolls next time.
Agonizing pain.
And we're past the normal time, so
Okay, and we have to also, like, as we make camp, like, be prepared if anything happened, like, be in our armor and have our weapons. And
so let's vote for inspiration.
Mm.
I
Who
want to
think-
say it's between Vel and Sorry for both arguing so passionately for their points.
That was a good moment, I will agree. Mm.
yeah, I also
Well,
like
Veldrin
Nearby.
already got a
Yeah, I already
Yeah.
got one at the beginning.
inspiration time, so probably Sorry.
I was also going to pitch in at the start. Kozik was rocking it at the beginning.
Kozik was rocking it. Opal rolled really well this session, except for that last history check.
And so was Niavara when you were oh, I just lost where my thought was going. Never
All right,
mind,
so-
if I
I'll
can
vote for
find it.
Sorry.
I'll go down the list. So, Inanna, who you voting for?
Okay, Inanna
Um,
has a what?
No. He's asking who we're voting for.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And both Sorry and Kozik don't have one.
Okay.
It's been a while since Harumph, if you will.
Around.
I'm gonna vote for Kozik on account of that I used his catchphrase there.
All right, one for Kozik. Kozik, who are you voting for?
I'll vote for Sorry.
I'm voting for Sorry.
Two for Sorry.
We need a way to
Vote for
secret
Veldrin.
vote.
All right, Opal.
I vote for Sorry.
And then Sorry.
I vote for Veldrin.
And Veldrin voted for Sorry. And Zed.
I think I'll vote for Opal for story time, dealing with all of that, guiding us in the
yeah.
right direction always, making sure that we didn't fall into a crevasse that had a tower of rubble.
And hanging out with the old lady.
Yeah, that was what I meant by story time.
Yeah.
Next time,
And
Opal
then-
will tell you of how her father had a passionate meeting with a silver dragon.
but first and foremost, just being kind of a voice of reason with Veldrin and Sari. I think that was a good RP moment.
Yeah, that
So
was
yeah,
really
that's my
good.
vote. Opal for sure.
Yay!
Yeah, that was
All right. Well, it looks like 3 for sorry.
Sorry, takes it.
Thank you,
All right.
thank you, Zed. That was
Very
nice to
sweet.
hear. That was a great
Thank you for
session. I
the-
liked it a lot.
Thank you for the inspiration, and I'll give.
Yeah,
it
that was a
away.
good session.
That was
I-
a really good session.
I loved
Yeah, that was fun.
I will say the juxtapose too with Sari, because normally when Sari kind of feels like we're in danger, she'll be like, guys, we shouldn't be here. And she was like, no, we gotta, like, I don't give a fuck what this thing is. Like, we have to take it out. So that was a cool character moment as well. I just have to give kudos.
Mhm.
I agree.
Very brave, bright paladin moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's the classic paladin right there. Boom.
I love how we have Sari as the classic paladin, the voice of good.
Like, guys, it's dangerous. Just leave it alone. Just don't touch it. No, don't touch that stone. Finds out the stone is evil. Guys, we can't go anywhere. That
Kill
stone's gotta
this stone
die.
now.
Guys, hand me a sledgehammer.
Niavara, when it's a little bit interesting, just like poking it. And Sara's like, we just have to be on time, everyone. Versus, it's a monster. We gotta run away like right now. I'm not touching that thing with a 5-foot pole. And Sara's like, listen, Deus Vult, Deus Vult, Deus Vult.
You don't need to run if the issue is dead.
Do you see the smite in my eyes?
Cut to the Joe Cat smite audio.
That was really good, Opal, though, the way you like brought it down to the like from Veldrin and I were on the opposite ends, and you brought it into the middle. Like you talked Sari back from just killing it, reminding her that things that that are supposedly evil can also be be
Mhm.
good, and you talked her off from the edge. That was really good. Where she said, "Okay, let's check out this individual and not assume." That was great. That was really great.
I
think-
enjoyed writing this encounter because I just
think
couldn't help
that's-
but think of like Witcher, like The Witcher 3, and how it's that
this-
universe and that writing.
Is this vaguely spoilery?
No,
I think that interaction though was really cool character building, and I kind of foresee that being brought up again at some point, because Veldrin and Sari had this interaction, and now they both might be able to kind of see each other's perspective a little bit more, and so it could just be a really cool sort of moment for those two characters. That's what I was viewing it as.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, a
Mhm.
good session.
also
Yeah, great
going
session.
to your
Happy
Witcher.
birthday, Veldrin.
Oh my god, Veldrin birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Veldrin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
No, Bappy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Yay.
celebratory recollection of your original spawn point day.
Happy getting catapulted out of your progenitor day.
Okay, I think we're diminishing
Catapulted,
this
wow.
a little
It's
bit.
getting worse every time.
Damn.
I hope you had a good day though.
It was
Sounds like
very
you did.
All right. So, with that being said, also mind you, that was our 100th episode. All right. So, with that being said, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for the raids. Appreciate you sticking around. Episode 100. Yup.
It's about along the way, because yeah, there's Veldrin and Niavara being drow, Cha being a tiefling. When we would go into towns, we'd just be kind of like, all right, who knows how we're gonna be approached.
It's post-game discussion, and reminiscing of the first episode versus 100. Yeah. So, yeah, yeah, for y'all's on the Ubles Tubles, we do this every Tuesday at 7:40 on Twitch TV/Q222. Pretty much the same as the Ubles Tubles. Tomorrow will be the second game at 5:30 Pacific. Let's see. I think that's pretty much all the announcements. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening or morning or whatever it is in between for you. And we will catch you again tomorrow. So with that, have yourselves a lovely evening. And like I said, appreciate you guys watching. And for y'all sticking around till the end of the session. So I guess, yeah, till next time. Have yourselves a good one.